Hi, and welcome to Zofro, where today I'm going to be talking to you about mental illness. But Zoe, you don't know anything about mental illness. That's correct, but I'm still going to talk about it anyway. So what's really bothering me lately is the decision that the world seems to have made that everybody who's slightly strange has a mental illness. Everywhere that you look these days, someone's been diagnosed with something that characterizes their personality traits as being a mental disorder. I've even read recently that if Mozart lived in modern times, he would have been diagnosed with ADD and medicated into normality like the rest of us. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants everyone to configure into one giant ball of normal. And yet that seems to be what we're doing to ourselves. It comes to the point where we have to question where we draw the line. But despite these realizations that everyone has a mental disorder, we seem to be taking them less and less seriously. And maybe it's because we've lowered the bar so much that if a child starts screaming, we're like, ADD! ADD! But actually, we're taking them far less seriously. Take Amanda Bynes, for example. We all went crazy when she went crazy because we were like, oh my god, celebrity meltdown! We should not have encouraged that because the poor girl, she is one of the cases where I feel like she actually does have some things happening in her head, some little demons that should not be there. And that's the kind of person that requires help. We were all too ready to make fun of her until we discovered that there was actually some sort of chemical imbalance leading to an instability in her mind. The more that we diagnose people with disorders that they don't necessarily have, the less notice that we take of people who genuinely do need our help. I had a friend in grade 10 who I'm actually still very close with who had depression, and in fact a lot of my friends in high school, 90% of my female friends especially in high school, had depression, diagnosed with it, and were taking antidepressant medications. And I was talking to one of them in grade 10 when she was newly diagnosed with it, and I said, oh, how did they determine that you had depression? And she said that they actually didn't take a blood test when they initially started giving her medication, but they gave her not a quiz, but like a set of questions that she had to answer. And so she gave me a site online that I went and visited, and it was a list of all of the questions to test whether you have depression. And so I went and read this list and basically self-diagnosed myself because I answered yes to every question. Do you feel insecure about yourself? Yes. Do you feel uncomfortable with your peers? Yes. Like, I probably have like social anxiety and bipolar disease and like all this stuff because I just really go up and down in emotions. But honestly, I just think that's me. If that's a personality, if that's a mental disorder, then fuck it. Like, I'm worried in this video that I'm coming across as saying you should ignore mental disorders or that they don't exist. But my point is that you need to be able to gauge. We, as a civilization, need to be able to gauge the difference between genuine mental illness and personality traits, because they're two different things, and I just don't want the people that genuinely need our help to be ignored in favor of those that genuinely don't need our help. For example, I was watching My Strange Addiction. Fuck you, it's good. I was watching My Strange Addiction the other day, and it was the episode of a guy, I don't know if anyone's seen it, a guy, and he has a like plastic wife, like she's a mannequin, basically, she's a real doll, and he loves her, and they live in an apartment, he dresses her up, they have a fucking grand time, but as part of the show, he had to speak to I want to say psychiatrist, but I don't know if that's the right doctor. Had to speak to a therapist, and the therapist was like, so are you genuinely happy, or do you just think you're happy as a mask for the unhappiness? And this guy was like, but seriously, the guy's happy, don't fuck with him, don't make him question it. If he goes to bed at night happy and wakes up in the morning happy and dresses his real doll happy as fuck, then let him continue living his life. So my point is today, be considerate to those around you. If someone around you think genuinely needs help, then please reach out to them and talk to them and be there. And if they're just upset, just give them a hug instead of drugs. Hugs, not drugs, kids. Woo! So this was a completely uninformed episode of Zofro, but I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't make videos for a while. I had shit to do. Really, I'm pretty lazy. Anyway, so I'll think of an outro next video. Have a great whatever.